Don't fade me, bro. This is the WeWin Sports Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the WeWin Sports Podcast. I can tell you the guys are riled up already. Today, we'll give our 30-second rants, we'll give our pick of the weeks, and then we'll chat about the $100 buy-in World Championship of Survivor Pools at Splash Sports. By the way, I re-entered $50,000 buy-in. I put up $25,000 of my own money at Splash Sports. 12 of us. David Woodley's basically a professional sports bettor. Woodley has great knowledge and sharp takes. Woodley's been hot. Fire emoji. Ooh, until last week. My guy, Brandon Cantu, has some well-thought-out contrarian takes. If you like the underdogs in the NFL, Contrarian Cantu is your man. Mike the Mouth Matasound, no sports, although he lost $3 million betting sports. But last year, Mikey was hot as a pistol, heated up on his NFL picks. Bet against Mikey at your own peril. Mikey, welcome back.
Phil.
What's up, Squarebag? How you doing?
Before I got to interrupt you real quick, Phil. I don't know if you guys have seen in the news. Did you see what is going on in the Kelce Taylor Swift Metaverse this week? It was their
Go
week
ahead,
off.
Cantu.
Thank you. I just was waiting for the go ahead there. It was their week off, and what was Taylor and Travis doing? They have been seen everywhere. Friday, they get some time off. Friday, they were out with Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, going to dinner, paparazzi everywhere. Saturday, out at dinner. Monday, here we are, and we're thinking, oh, it's the big game of the week. It's the biggest game in New York is the Bills and the Jets. So what do? Taylor Swift and Kelce, they go to the other game. They go to the Yankees ALCS game. They were seen sharing drinks, like Taylor is like feeding her drink into Taylor, into Travis. It was just all a little bit much. PDAs kissing, the hugging. I was all over Twitter. The fans are very upset about it. They just want to watch a baseball game. They've now hijacked
Mike's doing
baseball.
the gag me.
What do you think, Woodley? I have to go.
Woodley,
you go.
I know you hate the whole Kelce verse, and you've had enough of it. Mike's doing the I like the Kelce. I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift. But Woodley, you hate it all. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, every week that goes by, I see these assholes and more. Like, they just invade my life. I was out shopping for groceries, and there's like a fucking ad with like the Kelce brothers and all the fucking shitty making fat kids, fucking high sugar, Fruit Loops, whatever, they're all over that shit. And then, last night I, long day yesterday. It's like 9 p.m. I hadn't eaten yet. So I go to the Uber Eats app to order some Buffalo Wild Wings. And I already know that like Jason Kelce is their spokesman because I can't turn on the fucking game for 17 seconds without it. But in the app, they're like, oh, we have Jason Kelce curating his like favorite things or like these must-have things.
In DoorDash app?
Buffalo Wild Wings. No, in the Uber Eats app. So like when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, it says here's like the Jason Kelce picks. Now, you think it'd be like something unique and interesting, right? Like maybe some new flavor. Maybe some new side, something, some fun dessert. No, because the guy has zero fucking personality. He's an idiot fucking drunk from Philadelphia. And like all those fucking assholes has no taste. All right, let's see what the first thing on the Kelce picks is. Large French fries. Wow. Very unique there, Jason. French fries. Wow, man. Fucking Jose Andres should fucking hire you to do his next menu with that delicious take. Now let's go to the next one. Traditional wings. Wow. This fucking guy, man. You can't put him on enough commercials. the taste. Thank God there's Jason Kelce there to suggest that I eat French fries and fucking buffalo wings at a sports bar called Buffalo Wild Wings.
Folks,
they need to fire the entire marketing department of Buffalo Wild Wings.
As the kids like to say,
Woodley
is on one. Woodley is on one. He has everybody cracking up. Okay, listen, I'm just going to say this. I can't help it. I'm coming counterpoint to you guys. Just going to say this. The Chiefs are still somehow 5-0. That's all I'm going to say. I like the Kelce's. Have they been in maybe a few too many commercials? Yeah. But, all right. Let's switch directions now. That was great stuff, guys. Mikey, I want to hear you. I want your 30-second rant, Mike, not your picks, your 30-second rant. Welcome back to the podcast. Go.
I mean, I was 0-2 on my picks last week. I did get a push with Washington plus fucking 7, but I mean, I did not do very well last week, and I'm really kind of pissed off. But you know what? The Kelces and the fucking Taylor Swifts, and they're all over the Buffalo Wild Wings. They're in New York. They're kissing. They're fucking touching each other's. You know what? I think I know what's going on this week. I think I have the winner for the week. Kids. I have changed my number 1 pick, and it's coming soon.
I'm suspecting that Mike is going to pick against the Chiefs, but that's just a guess. Okay, listen. I'm going with my rant. Right to my rant, okay? I hate the term squares. Professional sports bettors, most of whom are barely lifetime winners, betting NFL games against the spread. All these losers with no money like to tease other bettors and call them squares. Are you a square because you bet a favorite NFL game? No. Are you a square if you bet too many? Apparently, yes. What do you call a guy that bets too many underdogs like Mike the Mouth, who went 2-8 last week? Like Mike the Mouth, who's lost $3 million betting sports. I was winning. I was right near the top of the league last year, our 10-game Pick'em League. Right near the top of the league after week 7. I had 2 bad weeks in a row, and here's Mike. Pick more underdogs, Phil, he says. I start forcing underdog picks, and I fell quickly down the rankings. Mike, call me what you will, but I'm going with my mind. I'm going with my instincts. I'm going with what I believe. And it's hip to be square. Okay. Now it's time,
you know something, Phil? Do you realize, Mr. Square Peg Pants, that you had one of your best weeks last week, and for the first time in NFL history, the fucking road favorites 9-0 straight up against the spread. Why did you have such a good week, Phil? Oh, Mr. Square Peg having a way, dun 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 dun. Mr. Square Peg doing his thing, dun 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 dun.
Mike, we're going to have to call you the guy that picks all the underdogs and goes 2-8 and then whines. We have to call that guy a circle. So from now on, you're a circle.
4-6. I went 4-6, motherfucker. Get it right, bitch.
Cantu, I need to have your 30-second rant. Whenever you're ready, go.
I want to say I was wrong about something. The Dallas Cowboys, I was wrong. Absolutely terrible. That over 10.5 preseason total wins. Rip that ticket up. Anybody that followed that, just rip it up, burn it. It is toast. Jerry Jones has done something a little wrong. Unless your name is Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Trayvon Diggs, they're literally making the whole salary cap up. It's just those 3 guys, and everybody else on the team has to eat at McDonald's. Nobody else can afford anything. I mean, they're those poor guys. Nobody else can. Nobody else. They can't pay anyone else. Everybody else just gets.
They can't pay their mortgage.
No.
Cantu actually with a take that makes somewhat sense.
Okay. I just want to say that the 3 of you hated my Detroit pick. I said Detroit's another level, but let's stop bragging and let's go on to Woodley.
Yeah, I mean, I keep coming back to the well, but it keeps paying off. I mean, the 2 things I said preseason, I had 3 things that are coming true. Zimmer again. I mean, it's just amazing. Just seeing what he's doing there. Did you see those images of Jerry Jones celebrating his 82nd birthday? Like, Zimmer is going to. Here's the thing about Zimmer, right? He is going to do the Cowboys fan base the greatest gift ever, which is drive Jerry Jones into an early grave.
Jeez.
So this is
brutal.
That guy, I thought he was going to live to 100. He's not going to live to 100 with Zimmer out there giving up 90 points a game.
Yeah.
I'm not, again, I hope Jerry Jones lives to be 100 because they're never winning with him. Number 2, I told everybody this entire fucking offseason, the Jets, they were going to implode. It wasn't because of the coach or the defense or Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall or anything. It's because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is dog shit. He's 2-4. He's bottom 10 in every meaningful quarterback stat. bottom 5 in most of them. And what does he do? He does the same shit he does every year. He got his coach fired this year. Woody Johnson's a moron too, all right? Like, Saleh wasn't the problem. All of a sudden, the defense looked like shit last night, so they're fucked. But he's bottom 10 and everything. He's probably a bottom 5 quarterback. The players hate playing with him, all right? Like, they hate him. He goes out. What does he do there last time? He throws like the underthrown ball of all underthrown balls and gives up an interception like he always does this year, and he blames the wide receiver. So what do they do today? Oh, I don't know. They go give up a third rounder, but potential second rounder to go get Devontae Adams, who's 31 years old. Devontae is the same thing as Aaron Rodgers. That guy hasn't looked like he's looked like shit the past 2 years as well. Devontae looked okay last year, but didn't look that good. So now they're giving up their future all for Aaron Rodgers so he can bring in his little fucking toys. He brought in Lazard, which looks good, but he also brought in Randall Cobb last year that took up the spot. He brought in Nathan Hackett, who should be nowhere near an NFL team. They're 2-4, and it's so glorious. And Mike is throwing out things like 294. Well, you know what, Mike? He gets the fucking red zone. Like, every team gets the red zone. He can't put it in the end zone. Why? Okay, the kicker missed a couple easy kicks. That's fine. Well, how about you get it on the fucking end zone when it's like first to goal from the 2-yard line? Fucking jump. Rodgers is toast. The Jets are toast.
I do agree. It was a phantom holding penalty.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Yeah, that was a kind of a tough call. I felt like, and definitely
terrible.
Well after the guy ran by him. But I would just say this, guys. To me, Rodgers lost a lot of mobility. I was like, why is he having issues? And he was getting sacked. He was getting pressure. And he used to just be able to go out to the left, go out to the right, dance around and throw like some strike down the field. And it looks to me like he's lost some mobility, which makes sense to me. Now, listen, Cantu's number 1 pick is the same, I believe, as Mike the Mouse number 1 pick. It's the same as Ryan Feldman's pick. Cantu, your number 1 pick, which apparently has never happened. 3 of the 5 of us also. Give us your pick.
San Francisco 49ers at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. The 49ers are 1-point favorites. Last I checked, I believe it's still at 1. It really doesn't have anything to do with the Kelce Metaverse. That's a little bit to have fun. The 49ers are healthy. They look great. The 49ers they're just clicking. They really should have beat the Seahawks like way worse than it was. There was a freak fumble in their own zone. There was a kickoff return. That game was not close. And I'm a Seahawks homer. I took the 49ers last week on our pod. It was my number 1. It was a winner.
Mine too.
I'm going to do it again. I also thought a little bit less of the Seahawks and more highly of the 49ers. The 49ers are healthy minus Christian McCaffrey. Now, the thing that's interesting about that to me is they've got a new running back. What's his name? Mason? This guy that's in here for 4 or 5 weeks. Mason is playing not as good as Christian McCaffrey, but he is very serviceable. He likes to get us 100 yards. He's putting up the yards. They look great.
Yeah, they look great. Mike, now this is also your number 1 pick, yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I Mason did get hurt at the end of last week, so I have to see if he's available this week. But the thing is we all jumped on, oh my God, Kansas City is fixed. Look what they did to the Saints defense, and the Saints defense was ranked number 4 in the NFL. Well, that's long ago. That's after their first 2 weeks. They've lost 4 in a row. They gave up a 51 burger to Baker Mayfield at home, okay? And they got gashed. So what does that tell me? The Kansas City offense isn't fixed. They played an absolute turd bucket in the Saints, and now they're going way up. They were 4-0. They should have been 0-4, okay? We thought, oh my God, yes, Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl. They're fixed. Look what they did to the Saints. But now we see the Saints just stink. And, I mean, here's just to give you an idea about the Kansas City win over the Saints. They got this, you can't make this up. They got Denver 2-point road favorites with Bo Nix on the road in New Orleans this week. So, there you go.
All right, I'm just going to say this. I love the Niners as well. To me, this is also a revenge. There's a lot of revenge here.
Yes, revenge game.
What happened? Somebody lost to somebody else at the Super Bowl in a very tight game. Kansas City's defense is phenomenal. I mean, I just can't believe. And you look at Mahomes' numbers, and what is he? He's number 18 in the league in numbers because he really hasn't had to show up yet. I think all of us in this podcast believe Mahomes is the best quarterback still. But it's on the road. It's at San Francisco. San Francisco's not overlooking this game. They're going to be ready to play. They look great against Seattle. I love the Niners. It's not one of my top 2 picks, but that's going to say that that's 4 of us on the podcast that love the 49ers. Now we go to Woodley.
That's 3. That's not 4. Oh, I guess Feldman.
Feldman called from outside.
Yeah. Well, congrats, Mike. You are now one of the squares. You have become the thing you hate the most in life.
That's very square. It's very square, but it's a mini buy for San Francisco, and it's a regular buy for Kansas City. So I just think that equals out.
All right. Well, San Francisco. I said it last week, and it continues to go on. Yeah, they look good against Seattle. Seattle hung in there. I don't know. That was a weird game. Like DK Metcalf, that guy fumbles like 19 times a game and all that. But what did I say last week when I took the Hawks, which was wrong? But I said San Francisco will struggle to get in the end zone. They still are. They look better this last week, but that game was out of control. And they still struggle. McCaffrey is key to them getting 7 instead of 3.
I agree.
They played a terrible defense there, and then their defense is not good. They've been about 130 points so far this year. They're not good. Like what has helped them the last several years is they've had a top 5 defense in the NFL, probably top 1 in the NFC. I don't know who had better defenses in the NFC the past few years. It was kind of like them and the Cowboys, and maybe our team like mixed in here and there. So again, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but people continue to overrate them, and I think they're doing it again this week. Kansas City, for all this talk about, you bash them and blah, 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 blah. All they're doing is going out there and winning games against really good teams. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Chargers, who have like the best defense in football. Things like that. The Chiefs, now I understand that they played one less game than some games, but the Chiefs have given up the second least amount of points in football. Even if you added on like the bye or whatever, they'd still be like top 4, top 5. Like that Chiefs team is a top 4 or 5 defense in the league, first of all, right? Like that is a very good defense. They're really, really good at holding teams to field goals. Like San Francisco is going to have a hell of a time getting that into the end zone. Like they'll get in between the 20s, but like San Francisco, can San Francisco score 3 touchdowns to win that game? I don't know. I would bet on the under of 3 touchdowns on that. Number 2 is you still have Patrick Mahomes. So you gift him with this incredible defense, and then you have Mahomes. I mean, this is like Tom Brady all over again in some of those years where Brady wasn't amazing. Like Brady won a lot of their Super Bowls just by being smart with a great defense. Now, Mahomes, yeah, he does throw some picks, but he's pretty smart with the ball. Like Reed knows what he's doing. They're starting to figure it out on offense. I think like Juju had a monster game. Like they're starting to figure out who these players are. Like Kelce is coming back, all this good stuff. I think the Chiefs win. I think they win pretty handily. I think the only thing going in the Niners' favor is this kind of trend that Super Bowl teams coming off a Super Bowl loss, like win the rematches. But if you look at that, a lot of those are like week 1 of the next year, right? Like this is week 7. Like these teams are playing, they know who they got. They feel good, all that. The Chiefs are healthy, it's healthy as they could be at this point. So yeah, I like the Chiefs here. And I think they obviously, if they cover, they're going to win, but I love them winning for sure. So I'm on the money line.
If the Chiefs win this game, I think they're going to be the clear-cut. I mean, it's kind of an obvious statement, but the clear-cut Super Bowl favorites. This is the game right here.
I mean, you like to say, well, Juju Smith got it going last week. Well, Joe Buck and Joe Smith and Sam Stein fucking got it going for fucking Baker Mayfield against the same Saints defense last week. Everybody goes off against the Saints defense the last 2 weeks. So they
had Chris Godwin.
You look at an offense. That's true. You look at an offense. Okay. Listen, I'm joking. Listen,
Mike Evans.
You look at an offense, okay, that was absolutely horrific the first 4 weeks. And we said after the game against the Saints, they looked fixed because the Saints defense was rated so high. Well, now after what I witnessed the last 2 weeks, and I see the Saints are now 2-4 and home dogs to the Denver fucking Broncos, tells me that I'm not convinced the Saints defense is fixed.
Mikey.
The Kansas City offense is fixed.
Mikey, last week we made our picks. Okay, You said Giants. You love the Giants, right? Then you listen to Steve Fezzik in your podcast. And
I didn't listen to anybody.
You did. You're like, oh, well, somehow Cincinnati. I'm going to bet. You told the people watching this podcast to bet the Giants. Then you bet Cincinnati.
By the way, their number one pick was the Giants. This is why I don't like to do this podcast on Tuesday. I knew as soon as Neighbors was out that they were not going to score. Neighbors is worth the second most in the league. Jefferson is worth 2.5 points. I think he's probably worth more, right? And they have Neighbors as being worth 2 points. And I just knew that Giant offense has been dog shit with Neighbors out. Yeah, they played against Seattle, but Seattle sucks.
So, Mike, so you pick San Francisco 49ers. You love them. So is there a chance on Friday switch sides?
Yes.
After you listen to other podcasts, are you going to switch sides?
As my top pick, there's a very good chance that it will not be my top pick. Okay. Yes, it is very square. Okay. And I don't like taking squares, but I have.
Mike, stop.
I can move my top pick up.
Let me bring my number one pick, Mike. Let me bring my number one pick.
It's fucking Tuesday. I didn't even know who was playing today until 5 minutes ago.
I'm glad you did a lot of preparation for the podcast, Mike. I did some preparation, and you know who I like? And I've been hot. I think I won 5 out of my last 6 picks on this show. I've been hot. I love the Falcons at home hosting Seattle minus 2.5. Let me just tell you something.
2.5.
I know that Woodley hates Cousins. Because Cousins broke his heart too many times. But Cousins looks phenomenal. I just think that Seattle really showed us who they are. I mean, man, they won the first 3 games. They looked really good. Homer Cantu was going crazy, so happy. My Seattle. Same thing with Woodley. My Minnesota Vikings, the homers are so happy. And then, bam, reality crashed down on Seattle. I think that Atlanta's going to actually crush them. I think they're going to win by 12 points. So that's my pick. The Falcons against Seattle. They're hosting Seattle. Woodley, what do you think of that pick?
I thought it was like 3, but I like it at 3.
I saw 2.5, but let's not argue.
For the sake of it, I'll take him at 2.5 as well, but I'll bet it at 3. No, I like Seattle on it. I don't think Atlanta. My feelings on Atlanta and like Cousins. Like everybody's falling for the Cousins trap all of a sudden. Ooh boy, he looks so good. This is like the classic. This is classic. I think Seattle comes back. I mean, Seattle has had a couple really rough showings. They got the new coach, they got the new attitude. Like they're putting up yards, putting up points. Like I saw a stat the other day. Like Seattle's throwing it on 1st and 10 more than any team in the league, which means like they're going to continue to play aggressive there. They're still pretty banged up on the defensive side. Like I checked real quick. It sounds like some of these defensive guys are going to come back. And when you're missing a third of your defense and those 4 players or those 3-4 players, like really good players in that defense, it makes a huge difference. So if they get those guys back, I think they keep Atlanta in check. I think they actually went out right. I don't think Atlanta's like that good of a team. Atlanta's been kind of helped by like beating like terrible teams. And then like they got gifted a game 2 weeks ago as well. That like they should not have won.
2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. So yeah, they're not that
gifted
good.
one game for
Seattle
sure.
Bounce back for sure. They're bouncing
Mikey,
back to Seattle.
what do you make of this pick? Falcons.
I think this is a typical square peg pick. I only see 3. I only see 3s out there. But I just Seattle's getting like at least 2 of their defensive people back. This is a real overreaction to them beating Carolina, where most of the sharps were on Carolina in this game. This game was an 8-point game late when Andy Dalton threw the pick, and they were driving to tie the game. The Falcons have not, like last week when they got up double digits, it was the first time all year they had been up double digits. They have played. They were in their first 5 games. They were 3-2, where they easily could have been 0-5, or they could have been 4-1. Also, every game has come down to a last possession. I can't lay 3 points, even though I'm not a big Seattle. I don't think they're very good, but I just think this is a spot where 3 is way too much. It just is.
Cantu, what do you make of this pick? 2.5 or 3? I do see both, but continue, Cantu.
Yeah, I am really down on Seattle right now. I think they're going to go over on their season total wins that I picked them for of over 7.5, but they really got the crap kicked out of them by San Francisco. Now, with that said, and the crap kicked out of them the week before, with that said, they have a 10 days off on a bye, which they had a Thursday game, so lots of rest. I think they're playing Atlanta on the right time. Once their defense gets healthy, I'm going to start believing in them again. This is just a game where I think it's a bad timing for the Falcons. I think Seattle's going to win this outright, and this is going to be kind of a sneaky game, right? As everybody had like written them off, and including myself. I just think this is a trap game. Love Seattle right here, just to win outright.
Okay, so guys, listen. I'm just going to say this. You all three of you are against me. Last week, my number one pick was Detroit at Dallas. You all said Dallas is going to win. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Look at their jerseys.
I want to comment on this game, and I think we all missed the point. We missed this last week. And I can't believe we missed this. This was the revenge of all revenge games for Detroit. This was the revenge from when they had the 2-point conversion called back.
The offensive lineman
didn't report, and you see what the coach did. He fucking threw like three touchdown passes to offensive linemen. He did a reverse hook and ladder with an offensive lineman, and he rubbed it in Dallas's face. They were up 34-7, and he was doing hook and ladders to the offensive lineman. We all missed this last week, or we would have been with you, Phil.
Oh, you all missed it. Not me.
I'm not trying.
Not me.
No, you never brought it up. You never brought it up about the revenge. If you would have brought it up about the revenge, I would have said, "Oh my god,"
because of the revenge.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
You have to say revenge to win. Like,
well, I just,
is it like chess when you have to say chess?
Because last year. I'm going to tell you why. Because last year when they fucked
Cantu,
them,
you have to say
right,
all in, even though you pushed all your chips.
I said to myself, when they play them next time, they're going to kill them. And because I have a bad memory,
well, Mike, I can't help it if you forgot. You have a bad memory. Let's move on. All I'm saying is, I love Atlanta. You guys don't. Last week I loved Detroit. You guys don't. Now we're going to go to. Well, we were going to go to David Woodley for his number one pick. Don't tell me it's the Vikings, you homer.
Yeah, I mean, they're the only team 5-0 against the spread to my recollection, so they'll keep it going here. 2.5 versus Detroit. Detroit's look great, but they just lost their best player by far.
Oh, that was hard to watch.
He's their best. I mean, Hutchinson is like, it's early to call him. I mean, if Hutchinson keeps this up, he's like easily Hall of Famer, right? He's like Darnold or Aaron Donald, not like Sam Darnold, but yeah, it's tough. That's a big loss for him, and without him, that defense is awful. And I know they shut down the Cowboys and all that. That defense sucks. Like Minnesota's gonna be able to do what they want against them. Like it's the pass rush is severely depleted. Even the run defense is now depleted and all that as well. So, Minnesota's getting Aaron Jones back. They may be getting a Hawkinson back, which makes me love it even more. But, they're at home. They're the best team in football right now, other than maybe the Chiefs. That place is going to be rocking. I mean, that place is going to be going absolutely bonkers. They're coming off a bye, which is huge. They were a little banged up, but like I said, everybody.
Detroit's coming off a bye too.
Versus the Cowboys. Okay.
Yeah, they have 40 at halftime.
Yeah, well, you know what, Mike? You know what happened on the Lions bye? Their best player on the team got lost for the season. So I know. That's the bye they had. The Vikings got healthy. They lost. I look up and down these like two teams. The Vikings are better than them in every aspect, other than probably running back, because Gibbs and
how about
Montgomery
offense? How about their entire offense?
How about quarterback?
Vikings.
How about quarterback?
Darnold and Goff are like dead even right now. The Vikings.
Goff fucking had 4 incompletions in 2 games. He's 36 of fucking 40. Yeah, Darnold was good.
Look at Woodley's looking up stats. Here we go.
Oh my god, he knows I'm right. 36
I'm
and
right.
40
I agree.
last two.
I'm the one who brought up quarterback.
Okay, but here's the deal. Yeah, Goff has looked really good the last 2 weeks, right? He's been basically perfect against a Seattle
18
team
of 18
that had
2 weeks
nobody.
ago.
Against Seattle team that had nobody, and in a Dallas game where he was up 1,000,000 points because the running game was doing that. The Vikings will be able to shut down the running game. If Detroit's running game gets shut down and they're forced to pass, Goff, shows his true colors there. He looked like shit against LA. He looked like shit, absolute shit against the Buccaneers. Okay, he looked okay against Arizona, but not great. What has Darnold done? Darnold is 5-0, right? Darnold didn't look great against the Jets, but the Jets have the best pass.
Okay, Woodley. Okay, Woodley. Enough.
They're going to win. They're better across the board.
Enough, Woodley. You're a Vikings homer who happens to be right every single time. So I have to, I know you're a homer. You admit it, but you have been right every single time. Cantu, what do you make of this pick? The Vikings at home, Minnesota Vikings at home, minus 2.5 versus the Detroit Lions.
Was anything sadder this last week than watching Hutchinson get carted off? It felt like you were watching the Lions' possible Super Bowl go off into a stretcher. I mean, did you look at some of the coaches' face? I saw coaches giving hugs to players, players hugging. It's almost like they kind of knew the season. We can't win the Super Bowl. We lost our true leader of this team. He is their best player on this team. I know Jared Goff is the most important, but he's their best player. And it was really hard. It was really hard to watch. And I felt like the air came out of even though they won big, it just felt like the air came out of the whole team. With that said, with the Vikings coming off this break, I love the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to put up a nice number. Will the Lions be able to keep up with them? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like a 31-24, so Vikings win.
All right, Mikey, what do you make of this pick?
I mean, if you think the Vikings are any good, you'd pick them, but I don't think they're a very good team. I think they're going to finish third in the division behind Green Bay and behind Detroit. Okay, I think their offense is a joke. I think Sam Darnold has regressed to the norm. And I'm not just talking about last week. Even the week before, he threw 2 picks and 2 that should have been picked off. I don't think he's very good. Okay, now, with that said, okay,
he threw one pick, Mike. He threw one pick.
The Detroit secondary. The Detroit, they caught Green Bay perfect. Love was coming off the injury, so in the first half he threw 2 picks. Right, ever since then, Love's only put up 65 fucking points in 1.5 of football. I don't think much of the Vikings. Okay, now you have to ask yourself: will Detroit rally this first week around the Hutchinson loss, or will their heads go down? If Detroit is able to rally and able to play at a high level, I don't think the game will be close. I think Detroit will beat them by 100.
I think that line's going to move. I think that line's going to go up. I think it's going to go to 3. I think this is the classic trap game. This is the classic trap game. Lions overachieved the big win of the year. I'll tell you why.
How is it a trap,
dude? It's for the division.
The trap game was for the division. The trap game was last week against Dallas. Okay?
Can I tell you the trap thing? I was actually going to explain the trap. It is a trap. The Lions win by 1 million against Dallas. This is a perfect trap.
Over a dog shit team.
Oh, are you done, Mike? Okay. They win by 1 million against Detroit wins by 1 million against Dallas. Vikings coming off a bye. That is what makes this the trap.
Okay, so
but it's
Mike,
not a trap. They've been waiting for 2 weeks. I was worried.
They didn't wait for 2 weeks. They won by 40 last week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the reason why I didn't like Detroit like Phil did last week is I knew they had this game on deck. They've had this game circled for 3-4 weeks. You'll see.
So Mike, you like Detroit. Okay. The guys love the Vikings. Okay. And I really love Detroit. I mean, this is my pick to win over 10.5 games. I love the coach. I love the offense. I love the defense. I love the energy. Having said all that, I'm going to just lean a little bit towards the Vikings, but I don't have a super strong opinion. Goff has been phenomenal. I do think that there's the possibility that they really rally around Hutchinson. And
Expose week. This is the week the Vikings get exposed. Thank you.
Okay,
Mike's
Danny.
been saying that for the past 5 weeks, so
I gotta
had
give
them as
Woodley
my
credit.
top pick. Whoa. I had the Vikings as my top pick in weeks 2 and 3. Okay, in weeks 4 and 5, I went against them. Yes, I'll admit that. So
How did that work out, Mike?
it's all right. I know.
Danny,
what the fucking Sam Darnold
Danny, I
is.
need you to post all 5 of our number 1 picks right now. Okay. And so far we have no consensus picks. And now I'm going to come to Mr. Mike Matisow, who seems to have an opinion about everything. Mike, what's your second pick?
I've been going back and forth on this a lot.
Really? What a shock.
This is what do you guys call it? Waffling. Okay. Now, if this
Mike
is
is the ultimate waffler. He tells the podcast about one way, then bets the other way.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. If Neighbors plays for the Giants this week, I love the Giants. Well, we're recording this on a fucking Tuesday, okay? By the time Sunday comes out, they'll know that if fucking Neighbors don't play, this is not a play at all. If Neighbors plays for the Giants, I love the Giants against what I think is a really dog shit Eagle team, okay? But if he doesn't play, my pivot number 2 pick will be the Green Bay Packers -2.5 against that piece of shit overrated.
Okay, Mike,
Houston,
stop.
Texas.
So Mikey, we're gonna we can't talk about
I have to have a pivot pick. Well, you have to have a pivot pick because my okay. I mean,
well, Mike, you can have a pivot pick.
You know what? Let's have a pivot pick every week, right? Since we're on Tuesday, we have to have a pivot pick.
Mike,
because you don't know what injuries or who's playing. And
Mike, it's okay, Mike. We understand.
You want me to just say pass every week? You want me to just say pass?
Yes. You should say pass every week.
I'll hop in. I'll hop in here
Pat.
because it's my the Giants are my number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Without the caveats. I think Neighbors will play. The price is sort of reflecting that. Like
I think it will too.
He'll be back. They're being they're being super cautious with him. But this has more. Well, the Giants look pretty good. I mean, they could have easily won that game against a really good Cincy team the other night. Like, a few things broke their way. I mean, obviously not having Neighbors killed them. You know, Giants are good. That defense looks really good. That pass protection looks really good. I kind of alluded to last week. Like, they're really high on all these like advanced metrics charts when it talks about like between the at the line of scrimmage and things like that. The Eagles are like an absolute mess. All right, like Jalen Hurts is the 4th best quarterback in the NFL to come out of the University of Oklahoma. Right. I think Baker Mayfield's number 1 right now. Murray's number 2. Spencer Rattler is number 3, and Jalen Hurts is number 4.
How do you put Jalen Hurts coming out of Oklahoma? He was with Alabama for 3 years. He played his last year in Oklahoma.
Well, I went to
Alabama.
Listen, Mike. I went to Oklahoma.
He's from Alabama. He's not an Oklahoma quarterback.
He won a Heisman in Oklahoma, you fucking dunce.
Every time they ask when they ask him,
Woodley wins. Just stop. Woodley wins right now. He won a Heisman.
They asked, who do you go for? He goes, I'm Bama all the way. Bama. That's what he said. Ask him.
Okay,
He won a Heisman.
Okay, anyways, Mike.
Heisman in Oklahoma. Woodley wins the point.
Okay,
Mike.
fine. Alabama. Yeah,
he won a national championship in Alabama.
He's fine. He's the second best Alabama quarterback in the league behind Bryce Young. Okay. Anyways, and Tua, third behind Tua and Bryce Young. The point is, he's terrible. Right? That's not a good team. Their coach is a fucking disaster. The guy's like talking shit to his own fan base after barely beating the Browns. The Browns are terrible. The Browns honestly should have won that game, and we should have been dancing in the street with our survivor pick. Right? Should be worth $120K right now. He's a psychopath. That guy shaved his head during the bye week. Okay, let me tell you about some of the people that shave their head. Unless you're going bald or sick or like doing it in favor or doing it in standing with someone that's sick, anyone that shaves their head is a fucking psychopath. All right, and that guy is a psychopath. He is having a goddamn.
There's Mike. Look, case in point.
Yeah, but Mike was going bald. Mike, that's fine, right? You can shave your head.
Mike, the psychopath.
No, Mike is fine. No, anybody that isn't going bald, isn't sick, or like standing in solidarity with someone going sick. If you shave your head in those cases, it's fine. Like you're normal. That's normal. If you shave your head and those 3 things don't apply, you're a fucking psychotic. Like you're a psychopath on the verge of a breakdown. Okay, Sirianni.
This applies to Phil Hellmuth. In 2002, he shaved his fucking head, and he wasn't going fucking bald, and he wanted me to do it. He said, no, I want to take all the credit for it, and shave
Mike,
his head.
That's
I
so funny.
I asked you want me to shave my head with you? And you said, no, let me do it.
That's revision. That's the funniest thing.
You wanted all the.
I don't remember Phil shaving his head.
Press. When what's his name won the World Series in 2002?
When Varconi won, but Mike's doing all the talking. But here's the funny thing. Mike agreed to have his head shaved. I agreed to have my head shaved if Varconi won. Mike disappeared out the back door. I've been telling the story for 10 years. It's in my biography.
I said,
and now Mike has revisionist history. Nobody has more revisionist history than Mike.
You said, I want all the press, is exactly what you said, so let me do it.
Please.
That's what you said.
Anyways. So Sirianni's a mess, right? He's out there threatening fans after loss. This guy has like one bad quarter from hopping in the stands and like shanking like 3 Eagles fans. Okay, like that team is a fucking mess.
I just say this:
Sirianni
Woodley hates Philadelphia. Woodley hates
I
Philadelphia.
do too.
And maybe that's why he hates the
too.
Kelces. I'm just going to go to Cantu right now. So right now, on the Giants, we have Mikey and Woodley aligned. It's usually pretty good. Plus 3.5 at home against Philly. Cantu, what do you make of this pick?
Philly's a mess. To be honest, Woodley jumped some of my points. He didn't jump my shave the head point, but he jumped my point on the Sirianni, arguing with fans. Talk about underachieving. The Philly media is really coming down on him. Should they pull in the middle of the season? That's a lot going on. I think they're losing. I think it's kind of the first team. Well, I guess the Jets would have been the first team when their coach went. But this is kind of the second team that's, I feel like, losing the locker room, losing the coach. With that said, the Giants have been, I'm going to say I was a little bit wrong about the Giants. Not completely, but a little bit. They're doing much better than I thought they would do. They're playing great defense. I don't know that the Eagles can score.
We all agree on that.
Yeah, I don't know that the Eagles can score many points. I don't care. I'm not like Mike. Neighbors, yeah, he's a good receiver. He helps them. He's not the make or break of this game. I think they win, or I think they keep it within 3. With or without him. So
you like Philly?
No, I like the Giants.
Okay.
Plus
okay,
3.
listen,
3, not 3
okay,
and a
so
half.
I'm going to say this. This is our first unanimous pick. I also like the Giants because of their defense. And I think basically after a couple of years, Hurts is basically starting to figure out Hurts, all these defenses. I just want to make one point and then we'll go back. It's interesting to me. You see what Baltimore did to the Washington quarterback. Actually, I'll talk about that later, but I just think, all right, I'm going to talk about that later. Cantu. So basically we have a unanimous pick. Giants plus 3.5 at home against Philly. Cantu, give us your second pick.
I have to recheck this because this line, I had the Bengals at minus 4.5. This is before Amari Cooper got traded. What's this line at? 6.5?
6. I see 6 right
6.
Is it 6 now? That's why, because it's been moving by the minute. I wanted to look at that. 6. I love the Bengals here. It doesn't matter if they have Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson, I still believe, is the problem here. I can't believe they're riding with him. He's just like, this isn't even some like real philosophical take. He is a cancer. And until they pull him, I felt they could have pulled him about a game and a half ago. There was a halftime where they could have salvaged the season. You know what? So what? You're 1-3. You have a chance to really show something. Are you really just going to just sink the ship? Well, they kind of have already sunk the ship, and I feel like they're just riding with Watson. It almost kind of feels like they're trying to make Amari Cooper the blame right now. That's how it feels to me. I guess I know you can't win with Deshaun Watson. I'm sure there is. We don't know about it. I'm sure there's something going on with the locker room that you trade Amari Cooper right there. With this said, I like the Bengals and I like them big.
I like the Bengals as well, and it's interesting to me. I think their defense finally looked good. Finally, their defense looked good last week, and so I like that. They are on the road. It is a division foe, but the Browns, I just can't believe it. I agree with you, Cantu, that I've been watching Deshaun Watson. He should have been pulled 2 games ago. I think it's a tough spot. You look at what happened to Russell Wilson at Denver. They paid him so much money. They didn't know what to do with him. They finally got rid of him. Denver's based on the comeback rise. I think something's going on with the Browns. I think something's really wrong with them. So I'm going, I like your pick. Now I'm going to go to Woodley on this. I think Mikey likes the other side of this because it's a division game, but we'll go to Woodley first. Bengals -6 at the Browns, Woodley.
I like the Browns this one, and I like them getting 6. And there's a couple things. Like the Browns, they should have beat Philly. Watson is awful, I agree. But he actually looked pretty good that second half. Like he actually did look pretty good. There's another bit. There's 2 factors I really like in the Browns' favor. Well, there's 3, right? Cincinnati's not good. All right, like everybody's beat this fucking Cincinnati's great team. They're not. They're not good, man. They're not good. They beat Carolina, and now they beat whoever they just beat. Oh, the Giants, and they didn't look good against Giants. They're not a good team. Okay, number
combined
one,
they're not 6. Combined record is 3-10.
Joe Burrow looks good to me.
They're not. Okay, Burrow's fine, but he's not elite. But anyway, they're not a 6 points better favorite than their big rival. They are big rivals there. This is like battle for Ohio. And the Browns haven't scored more than 20 points all season, right? And that's a huge problem. They haven't been able to get in the end zone, right? Cooper obviously wasn't it. Njoku or whatever, like he's been injured, all that. But there is a very big thing happening this week, and that is Nick Chubb is coming back this week, okay? Nick Chubb, for all his faults, like will get the ball in the end zone. If you get it inside the 10, Nick Chubb is good from there and will do it. So that offense is going to be improved. They've shown a little bit of life there, right? They should have won that game. They're going to come out. I don't think they're going to win, but they're 6 points. Give me the Browns all day at 6.
Mikey?
I couldn't agree more on everything he said. And, everybody's ripping on Watson. On the last drive, when they had 1st and goal to fucking 2 before the stupid-ass holding penalty, or whatever it was for 10 yards, Watson was 10 of 10 just on the last drive. That would have won them the game, okay, or tied them the game. He played. Everybody's ripping on Watson. Watson played great in the second half. And you're talking about the Bengals laying 6. Yeah, their defense was great last week, okay, but this is like Woodley said. These 2 teams hate each other. This is the most. As much as they hate Pittsburgh, they hate the Browns worse. This is a division rival. And you think the Browns at home are just going to roll over to a Bengal team whose only 2 wins are against Carolina and the Giants with a combined of 9 wins? I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't shock me. Now, Cincinnati needs this game for their season, but so do the Browns. It wouldn't shock me if the Browns went outright. It's a short week for they played in the late.
Okay, stop,
game
guys, stop. He finished with 168 yards. You say he had 10 completions on the last drive.
He only had 10 for 10 on the last drive.
Fine. He only had 6 completions until the last drive. He had 16 completions. I don't care how you want to break it down. Nick Chubb is the heart and soul of that team. Mike, shut up. He hasn't thrown for 200 yards yet this year. So when he throws for 200 yards, call me up, Mike.
What's amazing to me is
Nick Chubb is the heart and soul of that team. I am all in.
Mike, let's get you on record, Mike. Would you say that Deshaun Watson is a serviceable quarterback?
I think that if he gets a running game and Nick Chubb is 80% of what we saw the last 3 years, 70%.
That's a waffling Mike. Mike, yes or no?
No.
Yes or no, Mike?
Yes or no, Mike?
Deshaun Watson a serviceable quarterback?
Yes. I thought he played very well.
Mike said yes.
Half.
He said yes.
Serviceable. He is not fucking serviceable, Mike.
Oh my God! He called Deshaun Watson a serviceable quarterback.
He is not serviceable. He's not a top
You did not watch how good he played in the second half yet last week.
Oh, just
one more. There's one more thing, and I'm actually surprised Mike didn't bring this up because it's his favorite topic in the world, which is offensive linemen. Like they've had the worst pass protection in the league by far. Like
they're missing like 4 offensive linemen.
They're getting healthy though. They are getting healthier, right? I don't know if they win, but like they should. Cincinnati's not 6 points better than with them, especially with Chubb coming back, the offense line getting healthy, and Watson. I don't know if he's serviceable, but
okay, guys,
he could be 25th best.
Okay, guys, stop. We have to move on. We're going to Ryan's number 1 pick, the Patriots, plus 5.5 at Jacksonville. I think we'll cover this one very quickly. I'm going to basically say that I'm basically just going to pass on this. Cantu. Patriots plus 5.5 at Jacksonville. Like it or don't like it. Let's go quick.
So last week, my number 1 pick was...
It's in London, first of all, not in Jacksonville. It's in London. Get that right.
Thank you, Mike. Last week, my number 1 pick was the Jaguars. I got to say, I had 4 points, the best of it. I think I got it here at, they were plus 2.5 when I told you guys, and it ended up 1.5 the other way. So, and then they still got blown out. So I guess it doesn't matter. But that says, I think they still lost by 19. It's crazy. I like the Jaguars. I'm still sticking with them. I like my guy, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if you guys saw this clip. I watched this clip of like 6 drop touchdown passes in the end zone last week for Jacksonville. The receivers weren't catching. I'm a true Trevor Lawrence defender. I'm sticking with him.
Okay, let's go quickly. Woodley, give me a quick take. Pats plus 5.5 at Jacksonville.
Well, I'm glad I'm gonna be able to like go do something else with my Sunday morning because I'm not gonna watch 1 second of this. Both these teams are dog
Me
shit.
neither.
Trevor Lawrence is dog shit. They fucking suck, right? So what do I say when there's 2 awful teams? And these are awful teams. These are bottom like 3 or 4 teams in the NFL. Don't fool yourself. You take the team that's for some reason getting a fucking touchdown. All right, so yeah, I'll take the Patriots, but I don't care.
Mike,
don't care. I'm
quick
not
take.
Okay, so I know this is really important to say. So last week, the reason why I was on the Jags and all the sharps were on the Jags, they're the ones that moved that line 4 points, is because rookie quarterbacks going to London were 1-5 straight up and against the spread. Well, Williams, it crushed them last week. Well, now you have another rookie quarterback on his second start in London. They've been in London now for 2 weeks. They're acclimated to the time zone. I love the other side of this game. I think that you're going to see the rookie quarterback struggle. And this was what was my play last week on Jacksonville, was the rookie quarterback going to London. They've been in London for 2 weeks. They're acclimated to the time zone. I think the Jags beat them, and I think they beat them big.
Okay. All right, guys, my number 2 pick. And then Danny, my number 2 pick is Washington. I bet it last night, -7, minus $1.20. Okay, they're hosting Tennessee. I bet this last night. I actually made the bet. So I'm using 7 minus $1.20, hosting Tennessee, guys. Don't give me.
They're not playing Tennessee. They're playing the Carolina Panthers.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Carolina. Even better for me. So Washington -7, minus $1.20, hosting the Carolina Panthers. Thanks, guys. I love this. I think that Washington's offense has been unstoppable. I think they started out 4 and somehow they won all these games. It was kind of crazy that they were able to pull this off. They even played one of the best teams in the league, Baltimore, close on the road. That offense is unstoppable. And let me just say this. Baltimore did something right. They kept Jaden Daniels in the pocket. So in other words, when he was back in the pocket and there's an offensive lineman blocking, the defensive lineman didn't commit to the inside where Daniels could go around. They didn't commit to the outside where Daniels could go in. They just kind of held their ground. Really good coaching, I felt like, for Baltimore. I don't think that Carolina, and I knew it was Carolina, I just wrote it down wrong. I don't think that Carolina is going to be able to hold him in the pocket. I think he might just score 35 points in this game. I think Washington's just going to blow out Carolina. So, Danny, post our number 2 picks, all 5 of them, and then I'm coming to Cantu. Are you ready to talk about Washington -7, hosting Carolina?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this one. I'll take Carolina. I'll take Carolina plus 7, maybe 7.5. Where you can probably find both. I'm going to pass it. I'll take Carolina.
Woodley.
I don't know.
That's how I felt. That's how I feel.
You say Carolina. They're playing Tennessee, though, right? You say Carolina.
No. Carolina.
No, it's Carolina.
Carolina versus Washington?
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're 7.5.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's 7.5. I like it. I kind of like it 7. I think, I was looking at it earlier, and I think it's a 7.5, so I didn't bet it. But if it's 7 for the sake of this,
it's right on the line between 7 and 7.5. We don't have to waste a lot of time. I think probably if you wait, you can get it.
It's a big one.
You can use either one.
You can get both.
It's a big one. I don't know.
Woodley, you're passing. Go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
No, I'll take whatever.
So,
I'll take Washington. I'll take Washington just because we might have to burn them in Survivor.
So
I'll take Washington.
It's a real boring game. I gotta tell you.
Here's the thing. Okay, the Panthers were decimated.
To me, it's not boring because I like that
on the defensive side. but they have a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. And Atlanta was was on the bye last week. All the sharps, and including me, really loved Carolina. I thought it was a really bad spot for Atlanta, and Atlanta still covered the spread. Okay, and the Panthers' defense is really bad. I was looking at this game earlier, and I'm thinking to myself, should I buy this thing to 7? I would not lay the 7.5. But if you buy it to
you can get
7,
a 7 minus 120.
Yeah, if you at 7, but this is also a really flat spot for Washington. Even though they came off a loss, that was a rivalry. These two teams are like 20 miles apart, and they wanted to. Now you could say they did show the world that they could compete with the Ravens, because they did. They scored 23 points. When you score 23 points in the NFL, you're going to win 80% of the time in this year's NFL. And I think they're going to score a lot of points. I could never take the Panthers, so to me, it's Washington or pass.
Okay, so a lot of like nobody cares about the game. I really do. I bet a lot on Washington in this game. I just think, and I will watch the game.
I take it back. It's just Carolina is really boring with Dalton. It's just a boring offense. It's a boring defense. They're kind of dull. That's why I said that.
So
nothing against Washington.
Okay, guys, time to move on. We're going on to, now we're going to talk about survivor pools. Folks, we bought 250 survivor pool picks at splashsports.com. $1 million guaranteed prize pool at $100 a piece. That's $25,000, 250 picks. Cantu boot $10,000 worth for no reason. Woodley's managing 150 picks for the WeWin Sports Podcast, with about 98% of the field now busted. I think, what do we have left, Woodley? 8? Woodley's done a really good job. We have 8 left of 237 picks.
It's pretty good.
I think that's right. So, Woodley, you've been really amazing with making these picks. I heard you allude earlier, we might use some of our picks on Washington. And then also, guys, I re-entered the Splash Sports $50,000 buy-in. 12 of us did it. Some poker players that you know the names of. And I put up $25,000 of my own money. So the way I think about it will be different. All 12 of the survivor picks survived. 12 out of 12 made it through, which is not surprising. All the favorites won. Woodley, what are you thinking about this week? You're leaning towards Washington with our 8 picks?
I mean, it's early. Washington and Buffalo obviously look very safe. Buffalo's playing Tennessee at home, but
yeah,
Buffalo has a lot of value.
Yeah, and they're coming off a big short week, Monday night win, which kind of gave them a 2.5 game lead in the division. This is a flat spot. Titans could win here.
Yeah, it's an interesting week. I mean, Washington looks safe. It's just
I like
a question
Jacksonville.
How much future value. Like
Jacksonville at home.
I might. They're not at home. We just they're in London.
They're not.
Sorry.
They're in London.
It feels like at home.
Week in London.
It does feel like at home. Second week.
Yeah, Jackson. I don't know. I'd maybe do one there, but I think the Rams are intriguing because the Rams don't have a lot of future value there.
Wait, who do the Rams play? I saw they were a big favorite.
7. They're 7 over the Raiders.
They're 7 over the Raiders. Wow.
They're 7. They got. I think they're getting Puka back this week, right? I know they're getting. Yeah, they're getting one of the receivers.
Yeah, so maybe it's the Rams. I think my favorite is gonna be the Rams. I think they'll be a little underowned, so we'll go Rams. We'll have some Washington, maybe like one Buffalo, just to make sure we're still alive there. And then, it's getting down to crunch time. It's funny. It was actually like finally a normal week. Like the first 5 weeks were so chaotic that like nobody big got beat last week. I had one on Tennessee. Mike talked me into it. Tennessee lost.
I mean, they gave away the game.
Let us be.
Wait, Mike, you don't have a pick. You don't have any of these picks.
This is important because as soon I was taking the Titans on one of my survivors, as soon as Richardson was ruled out, I got off of fucking Tennessee. Because I know that fucking Flacco's 100 times.
This is Mike. This is classic Mike.
Classic.
This is classic Mike. He talked Woodley into Tennessee, then he changed at the last.
Injuries are brainwaves. It's called injuries.
Needs to see how Mike can he can hijack your brainwaves. He yells so loud, he gets right in there, and it jars you, and it sticks. Like, I have to take a Titans, and I know that's what.
We know that Mike watches 42 podcasts every week, and its pick changes every podcast he watches.
No, my pick changes based on injuries. Okay. My picks change based on injuries. I do not put a bet in until Sunday morning or Saturday night, you fucker.
So he has a piece of my circa one, and I kind of, I always kind of know who I'm going with, but then I, to amuse him and myself, I'll, throw it out there. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm going with Baltimore this week because I was like, Philly, like half the field's gonna be on Philly, and I trust these. Oh, you got a horrible feeling about Baltimore. That Washington team, Woodley. If you really want to go on the limb, you should take Jacksonville or Tennessee. If you really want.
Jacksonville too.
No, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did like Tennessee, but I did not. But I originally thought the Eagles were safe, and then I started thinking about it. No, they're not. They're fucking not very good. I'm not gonna lie. I did like the Titans. I felt there was
Jacksonville.
There was. Mike, did you have a dream, Mike? Mike, did you have a dream?
I haven't, but when I do, I'm 4-0 this year on dreams. But you know what? I just felt like okay, we burned the Ravens, and they're very good future value. As it turns out, even though they could almost should have lost, the people that use the Eagles now have a better future value.
Woodley, would you please block Mike? Because he's fucking us up. He's all these crazy bad picks he keeps.
Protect your brainwaves.
He talked Cantu into batting 92 picks. And then we were safe. We went to bed. Cantu had one team. The next day he was on another
Houston,
team.
We were winning, and then Mike told me, no, gotta change. I forget what team it is now.
Detroit.
Yeah.
We're not going to forget because
Detroit dominated that game. I can remember. Detroit dominated that game
Mike,
and lost.
Here's Mike. Every time Mike makes the wrong pick, it was never the wrong pick. It's like, 13 other players.
Well, if they lose, it's the wrong pick. Anytime they lose, it's the wrong pick. Okay, even the Jets fucking
folks at home.
The Jets missed two 20-yard field goals last night, or they would have won. Okay, so if the kicker could fucking just play with his dick and kick the ball, the Jets would have won the game last night. Instead, they lost. And now it's the wrong pick.
You don't mention anything about the Jets were dead in the water, but he says that, right? Those are tough.
Right.
He missed a couple games. But he doesn't mention the fact that it was 20-10. They were dead in the water, and he threw a miracle Hail Mary. He'll never bring that up. He'll never bring that
up. I will bring that up. I'm not like you. I'm not like you that sucks off the fucking Vikings every week. Oh, well, they did this, and they did this. I agree.
Folks at home, I got to just say this. Listen. This is important. Mike Matisow will give you a pick. He'll say, this is a guarantee. Then Steve Fezzik tells him it isn't. Then the next day he's like, "Well, I don't even know what you're talking about."
Why do you say Steve Fezzik bullshit?
Why do you keep changing your mind so often, Mike?
Because I look at injuries, you fucker. Okay, the Giants were my number
one pick.
It was their number one pick. And as soon as Neighbors was ruled out, I bet my biggest amount of money I bet all year on the Bengals, and I got lucky, but that's what I did.
No,
let's talk about that game. Let's talk about the game. How that game ended.
No, Mike, stop. We can't.
No. It's important to talk about that game because that game should have ended 10-7, and I should have lost, and they would have been the first time in Bengals history that they won a game with scoring 10 points. But of course, the guy ran it in.
I will tell you this: it was pretty interesting. And come back to the Survivor, Woodley in the $50,000 Survivor. 12. It was amazing. We had 12 picks. They were spread out on 5 or 6 different teams, which I'd never seen before. Usually it's everybody piles on one team or another. We went with the Ravens, which was your suggestion. And I hate it. And I love Washington. And I was really sweating that game, but we thought we might gain an edge. We thought Philly might actually lose that game. All right. Okay, Woodley. So I think it's time. Mike, thank you for joining us and coming in. And guys, I think this was a great podcast. And I want to remind the viewers that we're really starting to heat up here. We're starting to heat up. And Woodley, one last, I want to end it on one note. Congratulations to Woodley. Woodley, you made a 4 or 5-way chop in our Survivor pool, the Mark Regret Survivor pool. Did you get $45,000?
Yes.
Now, Woodley.
Fuck that. Just win me the fucking circa, man.
14 million circa?
Sucker. Win me the circa. Changed my life.
Got this nice little bag, to show for it. It's fun to walk out of Vegas with that. So.
Wow.
Woodley, everybody a round of applause for Woodley chopping this. That's how we'll end it, guys. Come on, Mike. You got to be proud of Woodley.
Mike.
Come on. Come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
Come on. Goodbye.